for the negotiations, and we will take it from there. It's positive to see that there's engagement also at the level of the president, and to stay in close contact. We are talking about, of course, the world's single largest and closest trading relation. So these negotiations are complex, and so they are taking time. Now, with this call, there's now also a new impetus.
They thought tariffs would bring jobs back. What they got instead was a mass exodus. Boeing's shocking move to abandon thousands of American workers proves just how fast protectionist policies can backfire. We have consistently prioritized American workers and innovation. However, the current trade environment does not support sustainable operations in the United States, stated Dave Calhoun, Boeing's CEO, in a succinct yet impactful statement. It is imperative that we make decisions to guarantee the business's long-term sustainability. Despite the statement's polite tone, sources close to the matter express internal annoyance and disbelief at what many in the sector perceive as a hazardous political ploy. The tariffs in question, which were passed by Congress with the strong support of Trump supporters, impose significant duties on imported materials such as titanium, aluminum alloys, and avionics systems. These components are used by Boeing and other American aerospace companies to build everything from commercial jets to military aircraft.
She just called me, as you know, and she asked for an extension on the June 1st date. And she said she wants to get down to serious negotiation because I've told you specifically, haven't I told anybody that would listen?
Well, it was a good call, indeed, as was also noted in the social media post by President von der Leyen, and to stay in close contact. We are talking about, of course, the world's single largest and closest trading relation.
At a time when Boeing is still grappling with the grounding of the 737 MAX line and subsequent legal disputes regarding safety issues, the cost increases resulting from these levies have inflated its financial statement by billions of dollars, according to estimates. The problem is further exacerbated by the symbolic significance of Boeing's departure. Boeing has been lauded by both conservatives and nationalists for decades as evidence that the United States is a global leader in high-tech, high-skilled production. In 2017, Trump visited Boeing factories and lauded the company as a shining example of Made in America. Nevertheless, that narrative is now in ruins, as the company has shifted a substantial portion of its production to facilities in India, Canada, and Brazil. Industry sources indicate that the decision was not made carelessly. However, it was unavoidable due to the financial circumstances. An instantaneous political backlash ensued. Democrats capitalized on the opportunity to accuse Trump and his supporters of prioritizing catchphrases over American employment. Senator Elizabeth Warren stated, "This is the consequence of governing with a fist and a tweet. The American enterprise is not fortified by its isolation. Employees are not safeguarded by being placed on the unemployment line." In the interim, moderate Republicans privately voiced their apprehensions, but they refrained from publicly criticizing Trump for fear of alienating his supporters prior to the primaries.
They have to do that, and we had a very nice call, and I agreed to move it. I believe June 9th would be, July 9th would be the date.
So basically, they agreed both to fast-track the trade negotiations. For the negotiations, and we will take it from there. It's positive to see that there's engagement also at the level of the president.
The human burden is already being experienced. Employees in North Charleston, Wichita, and Renton have received termination notices via mail. Local news outlets broadcast footage of bereaved employees tendering farewell to their colleagues with whom they had spent their entire careers and removing decades-old toolkits. Angela Martinez, an employee, stated, "My father was employed by Boeing. I was employed by Boeing. Presently, my child is experiencing unemployment." A single announcement resulted in the departure of 3 generations. And for what purpose? Experts caution that this is likely only the beginning, especially those in industries that significantly rely on global supply chains such as semiconductors, renewable energy, and automobiles. Other multinational corporations may be encouraged to emulate Boeing's approach. Currently, there is concern regarding a potential chain of events in which Trump's protectionist tariffs not only fail to preserve employment in the United States, but also accelerate offshore at a rate that has not been seen since the 1990s. Messages from Wall Street were varied. Boeing's stock experienced a minor recovery following its decline during pre-market trading after investors recognized that the decision could potentially prevent the company from incurring additional losses in the short term. Nevertheless,
that was the date she requested. Could we move it from June 1st to July 9th? And I agreed to do that. And that she said we will rapidly get together and see if we can work something out.
So these negotiations are complex, and so they are taking time. Now, with this call, there's now also a new impetus, and confirmed by President Trump himself when he spoke to the press yesterday.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he will pause a 50% tariff on goods from the European Union until July 9th to buy time for negotiations.
The Dow Jones experienced a decline of over 300 points as markets evaluated the potential consequences of a significant American corporation exiting the domestic economy. The incident was characterized by certain investors as a vote of no confidence in American industrial strategy. The White House has endeavored to minimize the significance of the information. According to a spokesperson, Boeing's decision was an isolated instance, and the media was accused of exaggerating the repercussions. Trump defended the tariffs in an early morning Truth Social post, asserting, "We do not require companies that are incapable of advocating for America. Permit Boeing to conduct business on an international scale if they so desire. We will construct American aircraft that are more robust and superior in their absence." Nevertheless, a substantial number of Americans have already suffered substantial injury. Cities that have historically depended on Boeing for economic stability are facing an uncertain future. Local leaders urge the federal government to provide emergency aid as unions prepare for a surge in legal challenges and unemployment claims. Ultimately, this event may be perceived as a watershed moment rather than a policy disaster, a reminder that words cannot supplant strategy and that even the titans of American industry will not remain indifferent in the face of economic sabotage that is disguised as patriotism. Boeing's departure may result in the dispelling of a fiction and the commencement of a reckoning.